Hey friends, welcome to the show. This is Pranavesh Shenoy, hosting this channel Connect Talks, an initiative by L&D Global Mumbai chapter in collaboration with Pragati Software Solutions, a space for co-working. Location courtesy, Zoom Start India. Today we have a gentleman, Mr. Bhavesh Kothari, a science graduate with chemistry majors, a postgraduate degree in event management, currently the Chief Business Officer at Tapasvi Group Ventures. He's going to put some lights on why startups fail. So let us quickly listen to him. What is his take on it? Welcome to the show, Bhavesh.
Thank you, Pradesh. Thank you so much for the Learning and Development Group for inviting me here and helping me to share my experience and insights on why startups fail.
Welcome.
Basically, I think it's a very valid question in today's startup ecosystem or business ecosystem. There are many reasons. I think you can't single out one. Couple of major reasons why startup fail is one is lack of vision, lack of value systems that you are trying to focus on in the market, lack of understanding of what is your target audience or what is your target market. Having said that, I think I have been mentoring startups for almost a decade now, and I come from a startup industry itself, having worked with startups my entire life, where I have been engaged with the ecosystem as well. Prior to this, I used to run a startup as well myself, and having seen the ecosystem very closely, the whole idea of starting up is not just putting up a website or an application, finding a problem. It is beyond that. The whole idea of starting a business is to understand what is it that I am trying to do. Are you able to answer the what, why, and how?
Exactly.
In the first place.
5 whys kind of thing.
Yes. For example, let me give you a scenario where we are talking about the challenges which either industries face or individuals face.
Perfect.
Right? Where we are talking about how am I gonna solve this problem? Okay, that's the first question.
Okay.
Is there a problem in the first place, or is it my perception? Okay.
Alright.
So which means you need to do a lot of research and understanding about where your target market is, who are your potential customers, what are the price points, how are you going to solve that problem? Okay. Why is it that your consumers will buy in the first place?
Correct.
Okay. What is the value proposition that you are trying to provide via your products or services? So it's not just one particular problem, it's a string of certain aspects on what you're trying to build.
Correct.
Are you an innovative startup? What is your go-to-market strategy? How are you going to scale up your business? What if the market changes? A classic example I will give you is, a few years ago, the oil prices were, let's say, 65, 70. Exactly. Today it has gone up to 80, 85.
Correct.
Okay. Now, if you are a logistics intensive startup and you are trying to ensure that you're operationally intensive, but somehow the market dynamics changes.
Correct.
How are you going to mitigate that risk?
Exactly.
So it's not only the financial risk.
So it's kind of a backup system that they should have.
Exactly. So for example, today you look at infrastructure. The policies change. The government changes, right?
Perfect.
Now, how are you going to align yourself? So it's not one problem of why a startup fails.
Here I could say business continuity plan.
Yes. Another example which I have to cite is, have you been able to understand your market? Okay. Have you been able to get the right team in place? Do you have a vision, mission, and value which aligns to the industry?
Perfect.
Do you have a team that also aligns to that vision, mission, and value?
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Co-founder conflicts, one of the biggest reasons. Lack of awareness. Lack of understanding whether do you want to really raise funds at this moment, or do you want to have your consumers as your first investors? Okay. So these are some of the areas.
So nowadays, if you look at startups, everybody is a young entrepreneur.
Exactly.
So
fortunately, I think India is one of the growing countries today.
Okay.
The startup culture is, gearing up.
Correct.
You find, a lot of entrepreneurs who are trying to build their own enterprises rather than trying to go and find jobs.
Correct.
Which is a very good part.
Exactly.
The investment scenario in India is growing up.
Okay.
And there are a lot of people who are now coming forward and saying, hey, look, I am ready to, help you and support you. One of the major reasons which I have seen is lack of finding the right mentors.
Okay.
I think very, very important. Let me give a very quick example of two of the best mentors, which I always cite, wherever I speak, whatever I do, is Lord Krishna and Chanakya.
Okay, all right.
It's a simple way where when Arjuna was actually in a dilemma, what am I going to do? Lord Krishna actually guided him. Look, whether it's your dharma or your karma,
exactly.
you have to.
This
is what you have to do.
Right.
Chanakya, same way. Ancient value systems which are more
corporate
important.
Chanakya, that is book.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there is no one method or there is no one reason why a startup fails.
Okay, there are multiple reasons.
Multiple reasons.
Okay.
Consumer, today your customers, if you are, working in a very competitive market, which is very thick, how are you going to be able to cut your competitors who are much more, larger in size, deep pockets? The only way you could compete is through value, through quality, through focus on your clients, and through delivery aspects.
Okay, so these are the key points that has to be highlighted.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Bhavesh. It was great and wonderful point there. I have few questions on these grounds that I can probably pitch in, and I can ask you, as your expertise goes for this. First question was ultimately answered by you as why startups fail. What should they do to emerge in this competitive platform?
So it's not about just price wars, what I feel. It's also about, as I said, value.
Correct.
What is that you're trying to provide your customers? What kind of value will your customers derive?
Okay.
Okay. If you look at B2B versus B2C, okay, there are two different markets. Which one is better? I think it all depends on what your focus is.
Exactly.
So there is no right and wrong from a B2B, B2C.
Okay.
Okay.
So is target audience plays a major role out here?
Absolutely, because they're your customers. If you don't understand your customers, if you don't understand your markets, how are you going to position your product? You as a startup, as an entrepreneur, you are a salesperson. You need to be able to sell. And it's not just about selling, it's about telling what kind of quality products or service that you're trying to provide in the market. Okay. What is the value proposition that you're trying to bring? So how are you different from your competitors? Are they your competitors, or you can maybe collaborators in this ecosystem?
Correct. So it's kind of a whiffum that we say, what's in it for me?
Exactly. Why would you buy? Because if you are not able to understand the value proposition, you might not want to buy in the first place.
Perfectly. All right. Thank you so much, Bhavesh. Next question that I have is, any tips or tricks or any framework to sustain in this market? To the viewers, basically.
Okay. A quick tips and tricks that I would love to, get out of my hat is, one is focus on what you're trying to bring. Okay. Be very, very, very sure that your target audience is crisp and clear. Third most important part is build value. I will always focus on building value. Value and the valuation comes eventually. So that's one of the messages. Also understand that you are not just trying to create a company, but you're trying to create a much larger ecosystem. So be it your customers, be it your vendors, be it your partners, you need to keep your eyes and ears open at all times to understand where is your challenge and how are you going to be able to solve that. Third most important part is, do not look at funding as an option right away when you're starting up. I think funding should come when you want to scale from 1 to 10 and not from 1 to 2. So build value, focus on your business, focus on your customers, ensure that your mission, vision, value is aligned with your team, build a robust structure, create employees which are a part of the organization, ensure that you don't employ people whom you want to work for, or whom they want to work for. Ensure that you have employees who you want to work with. Okay. So these are some of the messages that I would want to pass
really
across.
thank you so much, Bhavesh. It was a good start for me as well, good pointers to me as well. The next question that I have is, nowadays every entrepreneur, as we just focused, today startups look forward for funding. Any guidance on how they should pitch for the startup and their vision to scale?
Okay, so first I think you need to understand how much is too much. Okay, when I say how much is too much, you need to also understand why am I looking for funds?
Correct.
Why should I raise funds? Understanding that what is it that I am going to be looking at when I am raising funds. Second point is you need to understand that you just don't need to get too much.
Exactly.
Okay, and then trying to figure out, oh, what am I going to do with that?
Correct.
At the same time, you need not only raise too little that you don't know now when is your next round going to be.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
So this is also very important.
Okay.
The third part is raise only when you are sure that you want to now scale from A to Z or A to B.
Correct.
Okay. It should be a part of your expansion strategy. It should also ensure that you are having less cash burn.
Okay.
Okay. More operationally intensive so that you don't burn too much.
Yeah.
Don't hire just because you have money in the bank.
Exactly.
Okay. Don't go out in marketing and branding too heavily because at many times it might fall flat.
Okay.
So you need to have your strategy in place completely.
Okay.
Also ensure that you are keeping sufficient fund in case something goes wrong.
That's called business
that's the contingency
backup.
plan. You should be there. Okay. Because ultimately the investor who is going to be coming on board is going to be looking at when is going to be my 3x 4x. Okay, so he will only talk about numbers. Also don't take checks just because he or she has money. What kind of value that investor is going to bring along with him or her
Exactly.
on board with you. The reason is because it is very imperative that you select the right investor also.
Okay.
Okay. Someone who understands your business and is aligned with your company's vision and
values.
So that is very, very important. Otherwise, what happens is at the end of the first quarter, the second quarter, all you will keep hearing is where is my money? Because ultimately the investor is also taking huge risk.
Exactly.
So he will also ensure that you deliver on what you have promised.
Okay.
Okay.
Here, I would ask a question again. Should a young entrepreneur, while onboarding an investor, he might have to take a tough decision call on rejecting an investor also?
Very important. I think you have the right to, because ultimately it's your business.
Okay.
Okay. The reason is because just because you want money, you don't want any investor coming in.
Okay.
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 Similarly, just because the investor has money, he or she should not pick up a startup.
Pick up a startup. Yeah.
It's a marriage.
Correct.
It's a cohesive bond.
It's a long run.
It's a long run. Okay, that you have to run together. Okay, that's very important. One major point in this, what I would want to ensure is that when you're selecting an investor, it has to be communicated clearly that this is what I want. This is where I am taking this particular business forward.
Okay.
This is the value that I'm going to bring on board, and
Okay.
this is how I'm going to scale.
Okay.
Never under-promise.
So these are the 5 key pointers.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't over-promise, under-deliver. Period.
Okay.
Okay. Be it your employees, be it your customers, whoever it is.
Okay. Last but not the least, can you just sum it up the entire conversation for the viewers?
As an entrepreneur, as an individual, I think I personally believe that we all have an onus to give back to our society. So on whatever we do, whether we work in an organization or we work in our own businesses, integrity and honesty is also very, very important. Also, the second aspect that I would want all the startups to look at is don't just be, to me kind of a business. Focus on innovation, focus on product, build great products, don't be copycats. Also, what kind of value system are you building within your organization is very, very imperative. What kind of culture that you are building is very imperative. nurture young people, who are working with you or working along with you, in fact, and mentor them, buddy them. Don't fear that once you mentor them, they would go away and start their own. I think that's the best thing you could always give, to your society as well, by building more entrepreneurs within your organization and within the industry. Zoomstart India is basically a collaborative co-working space and a community, which is an initiative by Tapasvi Group Ventures under the leadership of Mr. Tapasvi Patel. We have several divisions which are supporting startups in the country, such as TGV Raima, TGV Recruit. We have an angel network called Naman Angels. We have a dedicated fund called the Billionaire Divas Fund, focused on urban and rural women entrepreneurs.
Oh.
So these are some of the initiatives that we have in the market to support young entrepreneurs and startups in the country.
Okay. So thank you, Bhavesh, for introducing a bit about Zoomstart India. Thank you, viewers, for watching us with me and Bhavesh here. Thank you for watching Connect Talks, an initiative by L&D Global Mumbai chapter in collaboration with Pragati Software Solutions, a space for co-working. Location courtesy, Zoomstart India. Hope to see you collaborate, co-create and contribute. Thank you again. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share.